Welcome to Confessions of a Stenographer, where we will focus on the business side of being a reporter and discussing all things steno. Good evening, and thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Shaunise Day. The purpose of this podcast is to bring the industry together one platform at a time. First, I brought to you Steno in a City, and that was created to bring the industry together. And now we have the podcast. How many times have you saw a great topic on social media or in one of the Facebook groups and you jotted down notes or took a few screenshots on information that could benefit you? I'm sure we all have done it. I know I have. There are so many reporters that aren't on social media and can benefit from those great social media topics. Everyone may not have access to social media, but everyone has a cell phone where we can all come together and share information. That is the purpose of this podcast. This is just one outlet for all of us to stay connected, grow, learn, and most importantly, protect and promote the profession. Close your eyes for a minute. Well, not if you're driving, but just imagine if we were all on the same team and had the same goal. Imagine if we were all somewhat cordial. Imagine what we can do with this profession. Just imagine we could all break bread together, start profitable partnerships. We could really do some great things within and turn the profession around. I know we won't win over everyone, but if we can get some on board to fight the good fight, we can make some great things happen. And this is a start. Now, with that being said, let's get into it with our very first guest. This steno lover is a freelancer based out of Dublin, California. Though he is still relatively new to the profession, he has hit the ground running to be a part of all that our profession has to offer. By completing his schooling entirely online, this awesome steno lover brings a fresh perspective to the concept of integrating technology with court reporting. His true passion is to encourage others to reach their highest goals and to accomplish them. Along with mentoring several students, he is involved with state and national associations as the current chair of the Deposition Freelance Advisory Committee with CCRA, as well as chair for the NCRA's New Professionals Advisory Committee and co-chair of NCRA's Educational Content Committee. Mr. RDR, this is what I like to call him. He strives to bring enthusiasm and professionalism to every task he undertakes, and he hopes to inspire others to do the same. Let me introduce to you all Mike Hensley. I thank you for being the first guest for the episode 1, and I am ready to get into it. First and foremost, I must say congratulations to you on that speed test that you had at the convention. How are you feeling?
I am so thrilled. It's a big honor for me to finally have placed. It's something I've really been working hard towards even since schooling. So it was a lot of fun to have that happen on my home turf in California. It made it really special, and it makes me excited to pursue even greater goals and even more contest wins. So I'm really looking forward to the future on that one.
Yes, I am so proud of you. You just continue to keep going and doing new things. So are you ready to confess, Mike?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get right into it. So for our listeners, how did you get into stenography? Did you have a dream job or a career before you decided to look into this profession?
I was very lucky to come into court reporting by chance. It was a perfect alignment of events. At the time I found court reporting, I was working in customer service call centers, and I had done so for years. And at my current company, I had reached the highest level I could go without a college degree. And I was at the point where I realized if I'm going to go any further, I need to go back to school, finish that up so I can be a serious adult. And I was browsing Facebook, and a friend of mine had posted something related to court reporting. I believe she posted something about a brief family she had just learned. And I thought it was really strange, so I asked her about it, and she told me it was part of court reporting, and that piqued my curiosity. So I started asking her more questions, started doing more reading, and the more information I learned about court reporting, I kept realizing this is what I need to be doing. This is what I was put on this earth for. And prior to that, I was dead set on being a high school band teacher. You could not have convinced me otherwise that I was going to do anything else. But life took me another direction, and through those circumstances, fortunately and blissfully, it led me to court reporting, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, I can definitely tell you that we are so grateful that you are a part of this profession. Your energy, your drive, your motivation, you're just amazing. Now, let me ask you about your schooling. Did you attend a brick and mortar or did you do online schooling?
I actually attended an online program offered through a brick and mortar school. The only time I set foot on campus was with Sage College in Southern California for registration to fill out some paperwork, and the rest of my schooling was done entirely online. And in fact, I did it from the state of Illinois.
Wow, interesting. And during your schooling, did you ever feel like giving up? Sometimes when you're doing schooling online, some feel as though, they need to be in a classroom setting. So for you, you went the whole way through online. So at any point, did you ever feel like, okay, this isn't for me, this isn't working, I'm going to, try something else? Or from the beginning to the end, you knew, okay, this is what I want to do?
I had the mindset that I was going to do whatever it takes to get through, because this was a huge investment of my time and my personal finances. And when I pursued this, I was already a self-sufficient, self-supporting adult working full-time. And if I was going to do this, I had to be serious. So there were points where I was frustrated, and I wouldn't say that I entertained the thought of giving up, but I became frustrated with progress I was making. And fortunately, I had people in my life to remind me that the only difference between a student and a working court reporter is that a working court reporter doesn't give up. And that meant so much to me to keep me going, even at the times when I was at what I would consider to be my lowest level of motivation through my schooling.
Now, you may not know this, but I remember when I sent you a friend's request in the ECRS group, you had posted this message where you were like, woohoo! And I was just like, oh my God, his energy. You had passed your test, and I knew that I wanted to, become your friend. I just love surrounding myself with people that has that high energy, positive, motivating. And so that's when I first became your friend. That's when you became certified. Now, with certification, you have took it to a whole new level. You have been reporting for how many years? 4 years now?
4 years this month, yes.
4 years. And CSR, and that's for the California certification, and you have the Registered Diplomat Reporter Certificate. How did you do it?
Well, I have always set my goal just outside of my comfort zone. I went through schooling knowing that the California CSR was 200, and I set my sights on the RPR, which was 225. Once I obtained the RPR, I knew there was something above that, and I just kept going forward. That's the kind of process that really inspires me and motivates me. I've always been the kind of person who always tries to continually improve and develop my skills no matter what I do, because that gives me energy, that gives me life. And to see what we have available in our profession through the the certification that our state and national associations offer, it was just inspiring, especially seeing how so many people have been able to achieve it themselves and seeing what those certificates offered for them. I had to get my hands on them.
Wow, just your story will motivate anyone, because it sure does motivate me, and I'm just so grateful for your friendship. Why did you decide to relocate from California? So are you from Illinois, and then you decided, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and take the plunge and go to California?
Well, I was born and raised in Southern California, and at the time that I was looking into court reporting school, I was in a long-term relationship, and my now spouse at the time had received an opportunity to move to Illinois for a great job opportunity with advancement, and it was that life choice that said, okay, am I serious about this relationship? And I decided I was, and I went all in, and I picked up and followed because I knew from doing my research that court reporting would allow me the opportunity to go virtually anywhere to do this job. Plus, I could do my schooling online and really from anywhere. And in fact, I proved that by doing it across the country.
Right.
And that took me on an adventure that exposed me to a different culture, a different way of life. The Midwest is very different from Southern California, but I'm really grateful for my experience out there. And then an opportunity opened back up for us to come back home, and I couldn't be happier to be in my home state.
Now, as a freelancer, can we agree that you are living your best life?
Absolutely. Every day I feel so privileged that I get to do a job that doesn't feel like a job. I get paid to play, essentially. And even on the hard days, the days where the job may be difficult or not ideal, I go home and I rest, and the next day I wake up and I'm renewed, and I feel that same excitement just to be able to do what I do on a regular basis.
Right. How do you balance your work life from your personal life?
I am still learning to develop this skill because I'm the kind of person that when I pick up something, I like to put all of my energy into it, and I've filled a lot of my time with my work life, but I've learned through mentorship and the advice of others how important it is to be able to balance my personal life. And so I've been able to find resources to alleviate some of the workload, such as using support staff like scopists and proofreaders, so that I can free up my time to dedicate my resources of energy towards what I do best, and that's writing on the machine. And then that opens up time throughout my schedule so that I can have personal time for me. And it's something that I will continue to work towards developing because I really feel it's important. And the best thing that I can say towards making that a success is to make sure that I plan everything out just like I budget money. I try to budget my time on a calendar so that I can see what I'm doing to work with that finite resource of time and how I can make sure that everything I need to get done gets done in a timely manner.
Yes, yes. So I want to say it was in New Orleans. No, it may have been in Vegas at the convention, and you were part of a seminar session. And as you can see, I love your sessions. You're a great speaker. And I told you not too long ago, I can't wait till I see you on TED Talks. I believe in you, and I know one day you will accomplish that long-term goal that I have for you. Isn't that funny how I have a long-term goal for you, but I believe, and I know you can do it. So switching gears, let's talk some tech talk tips, software questions. Now, it was in Vegas. You said, I want to say at least maybe 5 to 10 times, you said, know your software. Do you remember that? You said, know your software. I
do.
Yep, you kept saying, it is so important that you know and learn your software. What laptop recommendations can you make for those that are in the market to purchase a new one?
Well, I would recommend that anyone looking for a laptop know your expectations for the industry that we are working in. So if you are shopping around, I would steer you away from the super robust gaming systems. Mm-hmm. I would encourage you to look for something that's more of a business model computer. And I have found a brand that I often see attorneys using, and it's been a very robust laptop for me, and it's a business model. So it has strong memory, a sufficient amount of memory so that I can handle multiple tasks at once, which is crucial when I offer real-time to clients, both in the room and remotely. I would also encourage you to put the extra money towards sufficient storage space and a solid-state hard drive, which is the most current version of storage on the market, to my knowledge. I'm sure they'll come out with something as soon as this podcast launches. That'll be just my luck. But know that for our industry, that's another important thing, is we have to be able to store and archive so much information for such a long period of time that you need to be able to handle that with ease. And of course, I personally aim for equipment that works within my personal capabilities in terms of how I carry my equipment and the footprint that I want to have on the job. So I have a laptop that's not too big, not too small. The screen isn't a strain on my eyes. I've put aside bells and whistles like needing a touch screen. That's something that doesn't harm or help me in my profession, so it wasn't something I needed. And in terms of sound and graphics, those can be adjustable depending on perhaps your budget for your first computer or the computer that you're working with on a regular basis. You can get away with a really good baseline model that is not very expensive in order to set yourself up adequately for the work we do.
Awesome. And I'm an HP girl, and I know soon I'm going to have to let go and cross on over to the other side. So what writer are you? What writer do you have? Do you have a Luminix?
I do. I have the Luminix 1. I purchased the model that was released a year ago that came with the universal toggle bar standard, and I really enjoy that writer. I try to keep up to date and current on the equipment and technology that I use as much as I can. Even though they are building writers almost as fast as iPhones now, it's a substantial investment, so I'm going to enjoy the ride on my current Luminix for a little while, and then once I have some time on that, I'll take a look and see what's out there, because by the time I'm ready, who knows, maybe they'll have the Luminix 3 or the 4 or even another machine. So that's one of the exciting things about the technology around us. It's always improving, always changing.
Right, exactly. I'm on the Luminix 1, and I'm also still on the Wave as well. And I did play around with the new Luminix this past convention in Denver, and it's amazing, but I'm also going to hold on to what I have for a little while longer. Eclipse or Case Catalyst? What software are you on?
I personally am on Case Catalyst. However, I learned Eclipse while I was in school. So anytime someone asks me that question of which one do you think is better, I bring them back to the argument where I say, which do you think is better, Apple or Android? And it's a very similar discussion. If you look at those two companies, they similarly both do the same thing. Mm-hmm. They just do them differently. So depending on what you prefer and what you're looking for personally, only you can answer that question best as far as which software you go towards. I mean, besides Eclipse and Case Catalyst, there are several other vendors out there that do just as good a job. And I know several professionals who are leaders in the industry who use one of the other softwares as well. So I encourage you to know what works for you and what helps you get the job done best for your practices, and go with it with confidence.
Yes, and I have a confession. So I started out with Eclipse, and I converted over to Case Catalyst. And so I would definitely agree with you. Okay, for those that may spend many hours on editing, what tips can you give to cut down that editing time?
First of all, know your software.
Right.
You knew it was coming.
Let me ask you this. So when learning your software, did you go through the interactive videos? Because I absolutely love them, but then I find that some people they're not a fan of it. So did you do the whole going through all of the interactive videos, or no?
I did. I've been a unique person in this way that I love watching video tutorials. That is a thrill for me. Yes. So when I was first on Eclipse, they had their interactive videos, and I went through all of those just like binge watching on Netflix. That was my jam. And Case Catalyst as well. They have their IVT database, is that the right word?
Yes.
They have their interactive video tutorials. And I went through those as well, and they were extremely helpful.
Right. What are a few shortcut tips you can offer?
Personally, in the Case Catalyst software, the function of replacing errors or incorrect items in your transcript. And some people will manually type words into the transcript. I would suggest that you use the replace function, because the chances are, just like the way we write in Steno, the chances are that an issue that you make with text is going to come up the same way in the future. And the great thing is, if you have that text issue come up again, you can simply highlight it, click or use the trigger the replace function. And if you've done it before, the software will automatically populate your correction from the past. So instead of you having to take maybe 5, 10, 12 seconds to type in that text that you wanted, it takes you 1, maybe 2 seconds. And that really adds up throughout the course of a 100, 200-page transcript.
Right. And are you using BriefIt?
Absolutely. BriefIt is one of the coolest features, and I know that most of the transcription softwares out there have something similar where the computer works with you to make suggestions to help you write shorter and more efficiently. There have been so many times on the job where something comes up and I just think, gosh, if only I had a shorter way to, oh, look, there it is. I'm good to go. Thanks, computer. And it makes the rest of the day a breeze. So I think that's a fantastic tool that we have available to us.
Yes. Now, earlier you stated getting some of your jobs over to your Scopus and your proofreader. Would you recommend that new professionals scope all of their jobs in the first few years before hiring a Scopus? What is your take on that?
My take is that you should be looking at your own work so that you can develop your skills, build your dictionary, see what your writing habits are. But I would also say take the time to start to learn how to work with a Scopus, even if it's slowly. Just because you're working with a Scopus doesn't mean you have to exclusively send out all your work and never touch it. It's perfectly fine for you to reach out to a Scopus and say, hey, I'm new, I'm trying to learn. Can I perhaps send you one job a month and see how we work together on that, just to get an idea of how that partnership goes forward? Because working with a Scopus, it's a process with a lot of moving parts. And so if you start early and take it slow and learn that skill when you're not in a time of panic or desperation, trying to meet work deadlines, you can build that relationship more successfully over time. So I tend to avoid setting a time limit on it. I say that you are the best judge of your capabilities, but I also say don't sell yourself short. Give yourself the time to learn what you can from that scoping process, because that's your most valuable time, is to see how you write. It gives you a chance to build your dictionary so you can be a clean real-time writer. And that was a lot of what I did. I spent so much time building my dictionary with everything that came up for, I would say for me personally, about the first 7 or 8 months. Mm-hmm. But aside from a Scopus, I would highly recommend that you get a proofreader from day one, because even if you're scoping your own work, it's so valuable to have that second set of eyes to catch something that you don't see yourself. And having a proofreader can help you solidify your understanding of grammar and punctuation, which is a crucial skill for you to keep at the top of your game.
Right. So for those that are in the market of looking for a proofreader or a Scopus, where would you recommend, like, where would they start? By word of mouth, Facebook groups? What would be a good place to, search for a proofer or a Scopus?
We are all so well connected socially through the forums that are available out there in the world today that absolutely, in general, it's word of mouth. However that may be, whether it's attending your state or national convention, or if it's joining a group on Facebook, or if it's just asking a court reporter you happen to know in your neighborhood, those are all perfectly valid ways to find a Scopus. And I have been fortunate enough to find Scopus and proofreaders going through each of those channels. And I've had great experiences and I've formed great relationships each of those ways. So check it all out. See whatever is available to you and put the ask into the universe, and the universe will return the information with you accordingly.
Yes. Now, you stated earlier about your real time. As we all know, confidence is key. When did you become real-time ready? When did you know, okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to be the best that I can be, and I'm going to go ahead and offer real-time?
Well, I think one thing that's great about education now for court reporting is that you start hearing about what real-time is from day one. And I was fortunate enough to learn a theory through my school that taught us how to work towards real-time from the beginning. Now, I would caution and say that I understand some people are so focused on real time through their schooling that they won't advance unless they're perfect. Well, my response to that particular fact is to say that it's really the speed that comes first, because as you get the speed, you can build that into your software in such a way that the real time comes naturally. The software that we have works with us so well in this day and age that as long as you can get the words down in some way, shape, or form, there is a way to make real time work. So I was really looking forward to real time from the start. It was something that really caught my interest, and I think that real time is one of the pillars of our profession and skill set that will keep us viable for many, many years going forward.
Now, for some reporters that have been reporting for maybe 10 or 15 years, maybe even 20, they don't have the confidence to go ahead and provide real time. What advice can you offer to them that just, they want to do it, but they don't know, where should they start, or what advice do you have to offer to the veteran reporters that are not real-time ready?
I would tell those reporters to just try. Even if you don't feel comfortable, just start trying, because the sooner you start trying, the sooner you can start refining that skill. And it's perfectly acceptable for you to do what most people call real timing for yourself. And that's just bringing your computer to the job, connecting your writer to it, and watching how your transcript goes throughout the day. You don't have to show this to your clients. It can be something that you can see yourself, and you can watch how that real-time feed would be viewed by your clients as you're working. And if you see that it needs work, well, then you have the fun of getting to work, and you can start looking into educational resources such as webinars or seminars through your your transcription software. The vendors have all sorts of events you can attend that can help build that skill. There are great individuals who provide education in that area as well. Personally, I'm still sharpening that skill, and I'm receiving tutoring from someone who offers that service. So we all can continue to work and develop that skill. We all do this the same way. There's no magic to it. It's just knowing how to take advantage of the tools and resources out there so that you too can be magical. You already have the capability, so why not give it a shot?
Yes. Now, let me ask you this. Do you still practice daily? What are you practicing?
Absolutely. I will be practicing for as long as I am a reporter. And I personally love to practice to certification test dictations, because that is a skill that is arguably more difficult than our daily jobs, because in daily jobs, you have pauses in conversation. You have variations of speed because people don't normally speak at 225 words per minute at a regular basis. If they do, then maybe they need to cut down on the caffeine. But I really like those test exams because it continuously keeps me at that high level of standard that I worked to earn. And it's easily accessible. It's easy to get your hands on those kind of dictations so that you can have them available anytime.
Right. Now, do you spend maybe 15, 20 minutes per day? How many minutes or how long do you practice per day?
So I'm actually a member of a practice group on Facebook. And in this group, we all dedicate to spend a minimum of 15 minutes a day every day, and we try to see how large of a streak that we can complete towards that end. Some days, if I have more time and if there are more skills that I'm trying to develop, or there are certain issues that I see coming up for me, then I will spend more time as I have it available. It really just depends, but ultimately I still think that writing on the machine is so much fun, and so if I have the time to play and practice, then of course I'll give myself the opportunity to do that.
I love it. I love it. Now, what are your favorite steno gadgets? Give me a couple that are your favorite gadgets.
Oh, how much time do you have?
Give me your top two.
Okay,
Three.
My top two. I love my label writer. I have the Dymo wireless label writer, and I use that to print exhibit stickers. It saves me so much time and hassle of trying to create and write exhibit stickers. I just click a button on my computer and it prints the exhibit sticker for me as needed. It looks clean, crisp, professional. It's just a great tool to have. Plus, I also use that same label writer to create business cards for clients on the job by printing the firm's contact information on those same little stickers, and I attach it to a general card that has my face and my name on it, so that way they can remember who I am and get in touch with the firm for any orders. So that's my big number one. And number two, it's a little creative, but I carry with me the Beats pill that you can get through Apple. And it's the standalone Bluetooth speaker. And I really like having that with me because in a pinch, if I'm in a situation where we don't have access to a Polycom or a good telephone, you can use that speaker and your mobile phone to be able to conference in someone who wishes to attend remotely. So it's really come in handy because the sound quality on that device is fantastic. Instead of trying to operate from the speakerphone from my cell phone itself, it makes it sound just like the person was in the room. And the same thing goes for if you have to use your computer to bring in someone via a web conference. That speaker helps amplify things in such a way that you hear it so much better than trying to work through a built-in speaker on your computer.
Wow, interesting. I'm definitely going to follow up with you to find out about your additional steno gadgets. Now, shifting the direction.
Yeah, we'll have to take a day.
Right, yes. And that's exactly what we need, and that's what this podcast is for, to connect us and share ideas, information, and, just bring everybody together and just, share ideas. Okay, now shifting our focus over to my next topic, which is promoting and protecting the profession. With the state of our profession, what are you doing to promote? What are you doing these days?
Well, I will tell you that it's very easy for me to constantly be promoting our profession because this is what I love. I love doing this job so much that anytime I get 10 seconds to tell someone about it, I turn that into 10 minutes because it's my natural inclination.
Yes.
We were just talking about this at our convention. The NCRA president was gracious enough to attend, and we were all sharing stories that we've all had one or two moments where we've told an Uber or Lyft driver about being a court reporter. Yes. And it was fun to hear all of us share that experience. But anytime I can tell anyone, whether they're an individual on the street who's looking for a career or someone I interact with, I always share my joy and love for the profession. That, and I'm a member of every association that I can be part of so that I can be part of the movement to keep court reporting alive and thriving. I'm part of CCRA, and I work on the board of directors. I was just recently installed. I have the privilege to serve this year as vice president, so I'm very excited for that.
What?
And I also...
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Did you just say vice president?
I did, yes. I was allowed the opportunity, and I've been installed, and I'm very excited to see what I can do in that role for our membership. It's going to be a great opportunity.
Yes, and we're definitely going to have a conversation after this because I am extremely excited and proud of you. Oh, my goodness. Congratulations. And I know you're going to do an amazing job. You are fit for that position. And, I just know I'll speak it into existence because it's going to happen. But one day, I don't know when, but I know that you are going to be the president of NCRA. I know it. You're going to be the president. Okay. So here in California,
you are really challenging me. I love this. I have 2 lifelong goals now just from our conversation.
Right. Well, that's because I know you can do it. I mean, just outside of this podcast and just knowing who you are, your energy, your fire for this profession, I'm just speechless right now. So it's really no surprise that, you are a VP, but you're just the perfect person for this position. And I'm just getting excited because I know that you are about to take it to another level. We'll save that conversation for another day, but I know what you're about to do. The fire, the passion that you have, you are about to do some exciting things. I already know. But we'll have you on again and we'll further discuss.
Well,
So
thank
now,
you very much.
You're welcome. So, in California, we've been dealing with that AB 1520, and I believe it's completed. And not too long ago, there were a lot of reporters confused. What is the AB 1520? What's going on? What is firm registration, sunset review? In short, can you just advise, what's the follow-up with it? Should anyone be concerned? Where are we now with it?
Sure. So AB 1520 was primarily a bill, first and foremost, to extend the life of the Court Reporters Board of California, and it's commonly referred to as the Sunset Bill because the board has a set span of time in which they can operate. At the end of that time, they review what they've done and they look forward to what they can accomplish. And there's a bill that essentially sets a new timeline for them to operate. Now, in the past, this has been a procedural bill. It has been uneventful and something that goes through without incident. This year, the bill was written in such a way where it contained controversial information. And by controversial, I mean information that brought about discussion, brought about differences of opinion, where if it were to be put to a vote, it may not be clear which way that vote would go. So ultimately, you're right, it was finally passed and accepted and signed by the governor. So we have our Court Reporters Board, which is fantastic for us. And part of that process in accepting it was the legislature agreed that they did not want to have this controversial content in that bill. So that controversial content was removed, and it has actually been put into a standalone bill so that it can still be considered. So coming up, you will hear about the new bill, AB 1469, and that will be making an appearance starting in January with that legislative cycle, and that is the bill that continues to look at firm registration. And this was ultimately CCRA's goal as well. We wanted to have a clean, uncontroversial bill so that the Court Reporters Board could stay active and help us maintain the high level of standard to protect the record and to protect the consumers of the state of California. And as we go forward, looking with AB 1469, we are going to work on that discussion and see how we can bring about firm registration so that everyone who operates in California in our industry is operating under the same guidelines and under the same practices with the same regulations so that we are all on a level playing field and operating in such a way where those companies that come into the state are following those same rules and in such a way that it doesn't place any consequence on an individual reporter should there be any action that is not within those guidelines, because they should be treated just the same as we are if they're going to be conducting the same business that we do.
I'm so excited that you're on board with promoting and protecting the profession. So now let's have a little bit of fun. Steno trivia. I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 questions. There'll be multiple choice, and we will see how you will do. And this is all from, I'm sure you know these answers. You have all of the certifications, so let's see what you do. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. A mistranslate on a computer-aided transcription system is a steno outline that A, is translated by an incorrect English word or phrase, B, translate with more than one definition, C, does not translate at all, or D, translate only partially.
It's A.
Yes, you got it right. It's translated by an incorrect English word or phrase. And the reason why I decided to do this, because as our listeners are listening, for those that, just need refreshers, or those that are practicing for, our state exam or written exam, this will help, build up your memory. So I thought it would be a great idea to have some fun. Okay, number 2.
I think it's great, and I hope I'm speaking slowly enough so that anyone who wants to write to this podcast can be able to do that as well.
Yes, and you're doing awesome. Okay, number 2. At a deposition that is being videotaped, the witness should be sworn in by A, the videotape operator, B, no one. Swearing in is unnecessary in videotape depositions, C, either plaintiff's counsel or defense counsel, or D, the stenographer.
D, the stenographer.
Yes. Okay, Number 3. Attorneys enter into stipulations at depositions or examinations before trial in order to A, comply with the rules of the court, B, demonstrate their willingness to cooperate, C, facilitate the pretrial procedure, or D, satisfy the requirements of the statute.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to make an educated guess on this one because I know why they do it and when they do it. I'm going to say that I believe it's B.
B, demonstrate willingness to cooperate. Sorry, Mike. The answer is...
okay. Well, there we go. I'm 60% accurate so far.
The answer is facilitate the pretrial procedure.
That was my other one. That if I used the 50-50, those would be the 2 choices. So Thank you for that. I can walk away smarter.
Right. Yes. Okay. And lastly, we have the California CSR exam next month. What tips can you give to those that will be taking the exam?
First and foremost, please have fun. If you go into this test with a positive attitude, a smile on your face, and just excited to be there, you will do so much better. I understand it can be an intimidating place to be, especially because of all of the procedures that are in place. But if you can set that aside and just relax and have a good time, you will do so much better because you will feel calm and confident, and you will perform at your absolute best. And along with that, my second tip would be remember that everyone involved in this process, the CRB, the state associations, the test readers themselves, even the test, they're all designed to get the court reporters to pass, or I should say the students to pass. But even those students, right now, you are court reporters. Know that everyone in this process wants to see you succeed. They are on your side. Sometimes people going into this test make the assumption that because there is such a strict procedure and because there's such a high standard that it's a barrier and it's being put in place to prevent them from joining. It's actually the opposite. The procedures are there to make sure that everyone has the best and fairest shot to succeed. And it's also there to make sure that everyone involved in the future through the legal system is guaranteed to receive someone who is competent and able to provide a crucial service. So just to repeat it, number 1, have fun. And number 2, know that we're all behind you.
Yes, I agree. And I think the last exam we had 37 that passed.
We did. It was a fantastic result. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to potentially keep that momentum going forward. And the future is looking very bright, especially with all the students that are coming through, thanks to the new A to Z program that we're rolling out throughout the state. I only see an increase in success as we go forward.
Right. And while we're on the topic of A to Z, for those reporters that may want to know what A to Z is or how can they get involved, what do you recommend? What should they do? Should they contact their state association, NCRA? What is the best way to getting information on how to get involved with A to Z?
Absolutely. Check with your state or national associations. You can find that information most easily there. I don't have those links memorized. I should have done that, but I know that you can start at your state association or go to the NCRA page, and you can find that information quite easily.
Steno news that you can use. In California, we have our CSR exam coming up on November 15th, and we want to send positive Steno vibes in that exam room. We are wishing you all the best of luck, and we can't wait to hear the results. If you are interested in obtaining another national certification, the registration window will open December 1st through December 20th, and the skills test window will begin on January 1st through January 20th. So now's the time. If you want to go ahead and add letters to your name, go ahead and get ready to register starting December 1st. Is anyone excited about the new cert that NCRA introduced, the RAR, the Registered Apprentice Reporter Certification? I think it's a great idea. For me, that cert does not say that I should get out there and start taking jobs. What that cert says to me is that I'm equipped, good enough, and I can do all things, and I will obtain my RPR in no time. I'm just a step away. That's what the cert means to me. If there are any students or uncertified reporters that are interested in taking it, go for it. There is nothing wrong with it. In life, we can always agree to disagree and still love on each other, right? If there is anyone out there that isn't familiar with the online testing platform through NCRA, you can go to Realtime Coach website and try the practice test. That's your Steno news that you can use. In this profession, we have reporters that are, high energy, like yourself, positive, motivating. They love their job. And then you have reporters that, I hate this. I don't like it. I can't wait to retire. AI is going to take over. I have all these pages. I want to find something else. I'll give you one example just with the whole social media, how, the negativity. How do you protect your peace from just staying aside from just all of that stuff?
Sure. There's a saying I like to use: you're only as clean as the water you bathe in. And the information is going to be out there. In this day and age, we all have the ability to express our opinions, and people are going to do that because the capability is out there for them to do so with very few limitations. But more effectively and more powerfully, we have the option, we have the choice to accept what we take in terms of what we read or what we expose ourselves to. And so personally, I associate with groups on Facebook that are a good resource, such as various job boards or encouraging court reporting students, or there's a group called Court Reporter Fur Babies, where everyone just posts pictures of their pets all day long. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that bring me joy. So those are the things that I give my focus and attention to.
Yes.
And I don't engage in conversations that are not working towards the greater good. If I happen to see that, I can recognize it's there, but I move on. Right. I don't absorb it into my personal being. So it's all about what you choose to engage in. That which you put out is that which you receive. Exactly. And so if you are a person who is surrounding yourself with positivity and putting positivity out into the world, well, of course, you're going to have peace almost all the time. It won't be perfect, and it won't be impossible for you to be exposed to negativity, but you can handle it in a much better way that still gives you that word that you're looking for, that peace.
Yes. Steno peace. Yes. Okay. Is stenography here to stay?
Absolutely. And in fact, we were very fortunate to have Jim DeCrescenza, I hope I said the last name right, at our convention to do the keynote presentation. And it was a thrilling exploration of just how vital we are as humans in this process. Because no matter how strong the computer thinks it can get, the human mind is always going to be much stronger, because there are things the human brain does that a computer just absolutely cannot. A computer handles routine and processes that are repetitive and have already been experienced. But the human mind can see past the routine and can see into the future with vision and foresight, and can understand things like context of the situation. And the human brain processes so many things, so many facts and impulses and signals and pieces of information at the same time. It's a capability that computers nowhere in the near future will be able to handle in terms of processing speed. And as long as stenographers are willing to embrace technology and use it to their advantage, they will always have the upper edge.
Yes, I love it. Okay, and last, any words of advice or comments that you would like to share with our listeners?
My last comment would be, first of all, to recognize that there is no magic and there is no innate skill that is untouchable. Everything that I do is something that every stenographer can do. Everything that the leaders of our industry do, even though it seems magical and possibly impossible, with the right amount of dedication to developing your skill and putting in the time to practice, you can absolutely do it. Everything we do is attainable. And secondly, the piece of advice I would give is to trust yourself, trust your gut, and let that take you into realms where you will go that will bring you joy, it will bring you peace, and it will make your life absolutely pleasurable to live in. And you can take that anywhere in our career to achieve all sorts of exciting things, because let's face it, the opportunities are limitless with stenography. There are so many things we can do and so many places we can go. So follow your heart and trust yourself. And if you're looking into trying something new, then go for it.
Mike Hensley, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you for being the first guest on this first episode of Confessions of a Stenographer, where we will focus on just bringing us together. Yes, so I thank you. Congratulations. I'll be following up with you because you know I have a whole bunch of more questions for you. So again, thank you so much, and I will be in touch. Thanks for confessing.
Absolutely, my pleasure. It's been an honor.
I would like to thank everyone that took the time to tune in to the first episode of my podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to hear on Confessions of a Stenographer, where we will focus on the business side of being a reporter, you can send an email to thestenopodcast@gmail.com. And remember, this platform was designed for all of us. I am determined to bridge the gap and bring us all together. We should all be striving to become one team with one goal, and that is to keep our profession alive. As technology evolves, so will stenography. We will continue to run our race. Why? Because we are the highly skilled individual and no one can do it better than us. We are here to stay, and don't forget that. We can all play on the same team and win together. And I'm your host, Shaunise Day.